I am here today on Secret Corner in Dauin on Negros Island in the Philippines, which is an amazing dive site if you like muck diving. So let me show you what's there to see, how to get there, how the dive site looks like. The only problem is, after I tell you all of these things, Secret Corner will not be secret anymore. Okay, where do we find Secret Corner? Now, of course, we're talking about the dive sites in Dauin. So we're looking at the south of Negros Island in the Visayas region of the Philippines. And this little village you can see here in Google Earth is Dauin, and just a little bit to the north of Dauin proper is Secret Corner. It's actually quite a pronounced corner sticking out from the coastline, and that has consequences for the currents there, which are usually going parallel to the shore but are not dangerous. And if you see the church in Dauin, just take a right to the access road and then you will see this wonderful beach. You see the corner, in the distance. This is what we were looking at the Google Earth map, and off we go diving. Now, as usual in Dauin, what we get is a mild slope, of the same slope as the beach up until about 5 meters, and then this slope gets steeper. And this is already the description of the dive site. So there is really no landmark, no reef, no wreck, nothing. What you will see, however, when you go deeper is a lot of muck, a lot of interesting critters, and very often they're within these garden eel fields. Now, this is the first critter I would like to show you. This is a marbled snake eel, which is an eel, of course a fish, which spends most of its time buried in the sand. And here it's moving its mouth to pump water over its gills for the purpose of respiration, and they're lion-weight predators. So they're sitting there in their burrow, and they would feed on a small fish which would kill as they come by. So this is a really interesting looking fish, very rare in other places. In Secret Corner, you almost have a guarantee that you will find something like that. There are several species of these snake eels. I would say that the marbled snake eel is my favorite. Now, we're back with the garden eels. So these are also fish. They're sessile fish. They spend all of their life in their burrows, and a Secret Corner has these fields which probably have thousands of these garden eels. And Secret Corner also has very interesting sea slugs. Now, there's this famous Shaun the Sheep sea slug, which it's not a nudibranch, and it grows on these semicircular algae, the type of algae I'm just pointing at here. And you might already see the sea slug on the left side of the algae, but let's look at it at a macro shot. This is the animal. So these are the sea slugs, which are sometimes called solar powered because they maintain the chloroplasts, the photosynthetically active parts of the algae cell, after they eat them. So very pretty small animals with a very curious biology. Once you know where to find them, and again on that type of algae, you will repeatedly find them on Secret Corner. So this is a big plus here. Now, a Secret Corner also has a lot of these sea pens. These are octocorals, and these sea pens are worth checking out because very often small shrimp live on there, like this one. So in whole groups of these shrimp, fascinating animals, almost completely translucent. This again is one of these critters which you will not see if you're not looking for it, if you don't know that it's there. But almost every sea pen in Secret Corner has something to discover. The shrimp is making its way over the octocoral. This animal is probably 4 millimeters in length, so just that you get a sense of scale. I'm showing you a lot of macro shots. So when you're diving Secret Corner, this is what you have to do. You have to go slowly, and you have to look at every algae at every coral, at every hole in the ground. And in this hole in the ground, I found a tiger mantis shrimp. This animal here is about the size of a grown man's forearm. That's actually a fairly big shrimp, and it's often hiding in this vertical burrow, and here it just came out, and you can see how its eyes are moving independently. And this mantis shrimp was surrounded by the smaller shrimp, which were feeding on small detritus particles in the sand. So again, this is something you would miss if you rush. Go slowly, look at every hole, look at every large pebble. There might be something hiding there. Secret corner is a dive for people with patience. This is actually a cleaner shrimp. So this species of shrimp would remove parasites of fish. Now what it's doing right now, it's feeding on detritus from the sand, and sometimes occasionally you would find benign rubbish on this dive site, like t-shirts, and it's also very worth checking under this or next to these t-shirts for small animals which are using human rubbish as a cover. Now very frequently you will encounter this very charismatic pufferfish. This is a Manila puffer, and they're quite abundant at Secret Corner, and they're essentially used to divers, so they will allow you to follow them, and then they will forage through the sand, pick up something, see if it's edible, move on. Often they're in groups of 2 or 3. Very interesting fish in terms of their swimming style. They're using all of their fins to maneuver in a very skilled way, and especially in the shallow parts you will find them. In the very shallow parts, probably only 3 or 4 meters deep, there are a few pieces of artificial reef on Secret Corner, like these concrete blocks which somebody must have sank already decades ago, and they're typically fairly nicely populated with fish. But even just the sand in the shallow water is worth visiting. So here there is this school of jacks which I saw at the very end of my dive.